Hey guys, as you all know, if you're in customer success, once a year, SuccessHacker and some generous sponsors actually run what we call the top 200, top 100, and top 25 customer success influencers nomination. And this year in 2021, we had close to 7,000 people voting in a mere 2-week period for 1,150 nominations. So quite the record. And it caught my attention. I was like, wow, I wonder who got voted, what country they're from. Is it mostly men or women? What age groups are we seeing? Because I think it's like a reflection of the community. It's a reflection of where do we see customer success being vibrant the most? And where are the areas that we need to invest to see growth? I guess I wasn't the only one who was curious about it because I ran into a post by Oliver Plain, who actually took the whole data of who was voted, from where, age groups, all of that, and compiled it into a report that you guys can actually download. We're going to have the link down here in the YouTube description if you're interested. I've invited him today to actually talk about the report and the findings, so stick around if you wanted to hear more. Today with us, we have Oliver Plain, who's the founder of NorthStar.buzz. Oliver, welcome to the show.
Right, Irit, thank you for inviting me. It's a real pleasure. And I guess you and me share the same passion with a lot of customer success people, the hunger for data.
Exactly. I think there's like a lot of conclusions we can make out of this. And I thought the trends were absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much for taking the time to compile and analyze what we're seeing. Very fascinated to see the result today. And clearly you have a lot of passion about customer success. And what are you doing these days with NorthStar.buzz before we get started?
So NorthStar.buzz is focused on customer success enablement with a sales side from it. I'm working and helping companies to promote customer success. And the report kind of reflects this. There's huge community of customer success folks in the States. And second to that was Brazil, which was kind of a surprise. But in Europe and the rest of the world, they're still catching up. And I think, there's a lot of good value to have customer success, especially in a subscription business. And companies are warming up to that. And I'm helping them, certain companies, to realize that and scale and create a customer success team.
So let's jump into the report. The first thing you've done is you analyze the top customer success nominees by region and gender. What did you find?
I really got into customer success at the beginning of this year, and I was following the likes of you, Irit, and a lot of thought leaders, and a lot of them were women. So I was curious when I looked at the nominees. Let's find out what is the trend, the gender diversity of customer success. But I was surprised that still there is a male domination in the nominees. If this is a true reflection of the state of customer success, I don't know. But it was just interesting to see that.
This was surprising for me as well. So basically you took the top 200 of the customer success nominees, because the SuccessHacker generously printed out, like compiled and showcased who were the top 200, top 100, and top 25. And you would think, out of 1,150 nominations, my gut feeling was, yeah, it would be mostly women, because even I see a lot of women in leadership positions, super proactive on the internet. I thought, wow, that's interesting that the ones who got voted as top 200 were actually mostly male, and it's almost equal, I suppose, in America, but it's much, much greater in the difference between male and female in Asia and Europe. I have to ask myself, is this because male figure, and I'm sorry to like drop this bomb, still considered more of a leader than women. There's so many women leaders and so many women influencers.
I agree. I looked on LinkedIn and the webinars, there's a huge portion who are led by women, right? I don't think that's a true reflection of the state of Europe. I think Europe is lagging in terms of customer success from the States. Brazil actually has more women.
If you liked what you've heard so far, that's awesome. More coming in a second here, but in the meantime, I want you to click that like button so that YouTube knows that this is great content and you can start sharing it with others.
By the way, where did you put Israel? Is it in Europe or Asia? Because I know Israel has like a ton of guys.
I use the UN classification for continents, and Israel falls in Asia.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting to see this. Like that we had from Africa and Oceania. That's like really cool.
Here's sort of the breakdown, and there you see, USA is completely leading the pack, and Brazil, is half that number, but then everybody else is lagging. And there you can see, the top two, USA and Brazil, like I said before, has one female nominee more than the male, and it's relatively tight in the US, but then thereafter it lags, right? The UK much more dominant in male, India as well, Israel 8-2, Canada has more females and so on. But there you go, you see the top five, but USA clear lead in Brazil.
I was expecting the US, I was expecting UK. Very familiar with the Israeli and Canadians influencers. And of course, I know India. I have personally like a lot of traffic from India on my channel, but I'm surprised by Brazil. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know. Were you surprised by Brazil being the second?
Absolutely. And the process I used to go through this, I obviously had to go and stalk every LinkedIn profile for all the nominees. And I wrote a quick connect message saying what I'm doing, and that's why I'm browsing on their profile. The Brazilian community was super warm and very interested about this data. And once I produced the report, a lot of them shared it with their network. They're super excited about customer success.
I think it would be interesting to compare who got actually voted versus who was nominated, and are we skewed towards a specific country? Because this is phenomenal. Like, I would be really interested, if they came second in the top 200, how far did they go in the top 100? I don't think any of them made it to the top 25.
I think one person from Brazil made it in the top 25. My idea actually at the basis was to see, is this a reflection of the state of customer success? In a way, I think it is. We see predominance of customer success, companies adopting customer success in the States, and the wave is slowly propagating out, which is normal, I think, for technology. Always starts or spawns out of San Francisco, the hub, and other centers now in the States, not only San Francisco, but the Bay Area. And then gradually the world adopts it. And I think this is a reflection in the report. And I'm looking to correlate that with the subscription business, not so much the SaaS trend, but you could have, SaaS or on-prem. It's the renewal. And renewal is about subscription, either monthly, annual, or every 3 years. You have to have customer success ensuring that renewal. The trend of this report versus the subscription economy would be an interesting comparison, and that again I will look to produce in the coming days.
I was asking myself the same question. Is this a reflection of how many subscription-based models do we have in each country? I think there's some countries here for sure that has a very vibrant economy and a large, subscription model that are not represented here. What else you got, Oliver?
Before we continue, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification button so that you don't miss out on any new videos.
Let's have a look, because one of the things I could say is titles was of interest. When I put this report together, it was finding out everyone's journey into customer success. Where they come from, where they are now, who are they working for, what title, what gender they are, and looking at their profiles, learning from these people who are top in their trade. And I had a look, and you look at the titles, a lot of them, are very senior, obviously, in the role. And again, it might be a reflection of the customer success maturity. You have startups, we have companies who are just founding now customer success teams. And obviously their leadership positions and the teams they're under are gradually growing. And there are not so many nominees in that area, although, they are extremely valuable to the team. A leader is as good as his or her team, in my mind. I think, again, it reflects the maturity of customer success in organizations.
So I think it's really interesting that what we're seeing is that the higher level you go, the more folks seem to be confident producing blogs, talking about things in webinars. But there's a good bunch of people that are just starting their careers. There are individual contributors or even managers, just team managers, maybe just recently get promoted and just like on their way up, that are already looking to develop their personal brand and are not afraid to speak up and say, hey, here's what I think. This is from my perspective, from my role level. If there's anything that anybody's going to take away from this video, is that anybody can be a great influencer. I remember when I first published my first blog, I was just so scared. Like, what if it's wrong? What if it's bad? And then I thought to myself, you know what? No, I'm just going to talk about things that are very close to me, that I just did with a client, or that I just ran into at myself as a person who's running a business and has clients. And I think as long as it's coming from a genuine place, this is my experience, this is how I dealt with it. I'm not trying to teach anybody this is how you should do it, at least not in the early days. Then you should be okay. And people might find actually value in it. And so I would love to see this pyramid turns upside down at some point in the future. If us, like older clan leaders, can actually encourage the younger folks to contribute, to express their opinion, to share from their own experience. I don't know like how it is to actually be a CSM in the trenches. I'd love to see more CSMs actually share their experiences with everyone. And it's okay. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about sharing your experience. That's what an influencer is. It's just helping people connect with joint common experiences.
Totally agree with you. I think, again, there's called it the more experienced CS leaders aren't shy or aren't scared to come out and tell people their experiences, their knowledge. So they've built up a set of tools, knowledge and experience, which maybe the newcomers don't have. But their experience, like you said, is also valuable. And I think in anything, it doesn't have to be necessarily customer success, but as long as you're passionate and you believe in what you have to say and you stand by your values, that passion rubs off on people. Hearing that story from individual contributors or customer success managers brings a refreshing angle to where customer success is going.
I'd like to encourage everyone to download the full report, because this is like general for like all the regions, but in your report, you actually slice and dice the data by region. You have a lot more color around it. So you might want to check how your region is doing versus other regions, exactly like this one. And I want to thank you for taking the time today to just go over, what is going on with the customer success community. I think there's a lot of learning. I'd like to encourage more women to step up the plate and share your experience and expertise with the community. I'd like to encourage younger people to do it, to build up your personal brand and help the community in general. You don't have to be well known and famous to make an impact.
The customer success community is hungry. It's in our nature. We want to learn, we want to explore, we're curious, and we're a very forgiving and kind community. At least that's the peers that I've met and followed are very generous in promoting customer success. Don't be afraid to reach out to some of these thought leaders. Come to the table with some ideas, some experiences. Just look at the YouTubers who make it, right? They're all passionate. Just be passionate about it. Be yourself and it will flow, I think, right?
Thank you so much for coming on today's video and the fireside chat we had. I really enjoyed it. Lots of great insights. Definitely download the report. And I think if they go to that link, they'll actually be able to subscribe and see all the other reports you're going to produce in the future, correct?
But my idea is actually to go to the next level, is to use a business intelligence tool to publish it on the internet. And I want to gather some other historical data, which is out there in the public domain, on the nominees going back to last year, and then try and correlate with other different graphs. This is the idea, this is the vision, right? This is where I want to go and maintain it going forward. So look out, the reports will come, and I think at some point there will be a BI tool report dashboard available to play around with and get a sense of how customer success is in your region and globally.
Guys, all the links are in the description below. Go ahead and download, subscribe to the channel to help us spread the word and get awareness to other customer success professionals and anybody that's run a subscription business, really. Give the video a like to say thank you for Oliver for sharing all this information. In the comments below, tell us who is your favorite top 200 influencer, and I will invite them to the channel for a video discussion. Guys, I'll see you at the next video.